Subscribe to the channel, man. Hey, welcome to the first installment of the Breakdown Factory, where I just break down fights, really fights that I choose to have interest in and, want to break it down. But if you in the comment section, if y'all have a fight that y'all want me to break down, between two fighters, let it be known fighters too, man, because, I'm not going to be breaking down, fighters that are not even relevant or don't have that much tape on them. So make sure if you want me to break down a fight, you just leave it in the comment section and make like I said, make sure it's a fighter that has tape out there, fights on YouTube, and the person who he's fighting have fights on YouTube, so I can properly assess what they can do, strengths and weaknesses, and I can properly break down the fight of the guy that they're fighting. But this breakdown factory, my first breakdown factory will be Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. Now, I have made my opinions about this fight on how I think Tyson Fury should have more fights before facing Deontay Wilder, but I'm gonna break it down anyway. I'm gonna take Tyson Fury word that he's ready to fight and he's focused. And he said the last time he was this focused was versus Klitschko one. So I'm gonna take his word for it. I don't really like doing that with fighters. I don't like really getting excited about a fighter that's been off 2.5 years. But I'm gonna break this fight down based upon what I know Tyson Fury can do. Okay, so the first thing is I'm gonna break down what Tyson Fury has to do to be successful against Deontay Wilder. Tyson Fury has to fight tall. He has the longer reach by 2 inches, which is a lot in boxing when it comes to a great jab. That Tyson Fury has a really good jab. He has to double it, single it, and triple it. That way, Deontay Wilder is not able to get an assessment on what he wants to do in the speed of his jab and counter his jab with a right hand. So Tyson Fury has to break up the rhythm of his jab and jab ones and twos and threes and jab to the body. Also, Tyson Fury, and this is very important. He must establish range. He must establish range. Let me say that again. He must establish the proper range to stay away from Deontay Wilder's right hand. Deontay Wilder can throw that right hand from the other side of the ring. So he has to be able to move from side to side and take a couple steps back using his jab and not just, taking a step back without throwing any punches. He has to keep Wilder busy. And he has to be able to move and feint. That's another thing. Tyson Fury has great feints. Now, if you go look at the fight with Klitschko, the main thing how he kept Klitschko off balance is because of his feints. His feints, his herky jerky style. He has I wouldn't say it's too much unorthodox. It's just a herky jerky, feint. And he had Klitschko thinking. Now, one thing I picked up on Wilder versus Ortiz that a lot of people not talking about, Wilder was doing a lot of thinking in the first 6 rounds versus Ortiz, which it was either one or two things. One, he couldn't find a proper range, or two, he was giving Ortiz a lot of respect. I don't know which one it was, but it was one of those two things. But the reason why Ortiz kept him off balance and had Wilder thinking, Ortiz got a nice right hand, and Ortiz was throwing feints. You know what I'm saying? That was keeping Wilder off balance. When Wilder just got rid of all that, thinking stuff and just started throwing punches, he was better. But when he was thinking, it was not looking good. Tyson Fury is the ultimate fighter that keeps you thinking. Now, Wilder cannot afford it. I mean, Wilder can. I'm going to talk about Wilder next, but Tyson Fury has to keep Wilder thinking. The less punches Wilder is throwing, the better for Tyson Fury, because the first 5 rounds are going to be dangerous for Tyson Fury. I think Tyson Fury, if he can get past the first 5 rounds, he can start having some success. And Tyson Fury has to use his feet in this fight. He cannot find himself standing in front of Deontay Wilder at no point in this fight. And he cannot be leaning up against the ropes. So he says he's in shape. He has to be in tip-top shape. Now, If anybody can pull off bouncing around the ring and being able to box without, making it look like you're running, Tyson Fury can pull it off. Because I've seen Tyson Fury do it before. That's Tyson Fury's game. Tyson Fury's game is being able to box on his feet, on his toes, per se. So he has to do those things to be successful. And I'm going to say it again. Tyson Fury has to establish the range in this fight. If he can establish a proper range in this fight, he can make it very tough for Deontay Wilder because the man is 6'9" with a 85-inch reach. So, and Tyson Fury doesn't fight. He doesn't fight short. He fights tall. He fights like Lennox Lewis. How Emmanuel Stewart had Lennox Lewis fighting in Lennox Lewis later in his career. He had Lennox and he had Klitschko, the younger Klitschko. He had him fighting tall. He has to fight tall. He cannot bend down and give Wilder a straight line with that right hand. He has to make Wilder reach with the right hand because when you reach with when you're punching when you're punching up opposed to punching straight onto your opponent, you lose power when you punch up. So maybe he'll hurt Tyson Fury, but Tyson Fury can take some of the sting off if he fights tall, and by the time that right hand gets there, some of the impact, can take off of the punch just in case he gets caught with the punch, because he's going to get caught. He's going to get hit. So that's what Tyson Fury has to do to be successful. Wilder, on the other hand, this is what Wilder have to do to be successful. Another thing, establish the range. That's the first thing in boxing. When you go into a gym and you finna spar, or your trainer teaches you, he always teaches you how to establish range. And that's with the jab. That's why they teach you the jab. That's why they say the jab is the most important punch in boxing, because it helps you establish range. If you can hit a man, if Wilder used the jab he used versus Bermane Stiverne in the first fight, Wilder used a nice, crisp, double, single jab. He was keeping Stiverne off balance the whole night. Then he was landing the right hand. Now, what Wilder don't want to do, he doesn't want to fall in with his right hand. You don't want to fall in with your right hand. He wants to stay away from that. He wants to just use his jab, keep Fury off balance, keep Fury busy with the jab. Like I said, both of these guys are going to have to establish the jab. Whoever establishes the jab, probably going to win the fight. Because one thing about Deontay Wilder, once he establishes his jab, and he can touch you with the jab, he can touch you with the right hand. Because if you can touch a man with the jab, you can touch him with the right hand. That's just boxing one-on-one. And another thing for Wilder, he has to go to Fury's body and go to Fury's body early. Fury is coming off a layoff. Yes, he had two fights, but in those two fights, those guys want to go into his body. And Tyson Fury got a soft body from what I've seen in his last couple of fights. Now, this fight, he may sure it up a little bit, but still, he hasn't had a sustained body attack in 2 years. So Deontay Wilder need to jab to that body, suck the wind out of Fury, because what you want to do is you want to make Fury feel your presence at all times, and see how Fury can take the mental pressure. Because we all know. I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about Fury that he hasn't said about himself, but we all know he went through a mental breakdown. So maybe maybe he can mentally break down under the pressure in the ring of this high profile fight. You know what I'm saying? So if Wilder can do that, and if Wilder can, like I said, establish range, maybe Wilder need to get on the inside some in this fight. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Wilder needs to try to get on the inside, because he don't want to be at the end of Fury's jab. He wants to be either out to where he can land his jab over the top of Fury jab, or he wants to be all the way in where he can, because Fury is not really an inside fighter. He doesn't want to fight inside. He wants to fight on the outside. So if Wilder can get on the inside and push him up against the ropes and start working him there, that'll work too. So what Wilder wants to do is going to that body and establish his jab. Both of these guys want to establish their jab. Now, who do I think going to win the fight? I think Wilder is going to win the fight. And it's just, it's not really because I think Wilder is the better fighter. It's because I think Tyson Fury, what he can do to win the fight, I don't know if he has all his everything together to do it. You know what I'm saying? From the time off, to not fighting, to me not fighting the opponents, I think he should have fought to get him ready for it. So, but he says he's ready. So it's all based on what we hear from Tyson Fury and what you can believe from him, and it's based on what we're gonna see fight night. This is an interesting fight because of that, because we don't know what Tyson Fury we're gonna see. If we see the Tyson Fury that fought Klitschko and won, I mean, they only fought once. If we see that Tyson Fury, then we got a really good fight on our hands. And then Deontay Wilder will have the onus will be on Deontay Wilder because see what Tyson Fury wants to do. He wants to get this fight to later rounds to put in Deontay Wilder's mind. Man, this guy been off 2.5 years. I'm not looking that good. I have to pick it up. He wants to make Wilder make mistakes based on Wilder perception on how the fight is going because everybody is looking at Wilder more than Tyson Fury. They're looking at to see if Wilder can get this man out of here early. Wilder has to get this man out of here in 5 rounds. If this start going 6, 7, 8, and Fury is competitive, people are gonna start looking at Wilder kind of sideways, like this man been off 2.5 years. The guys that he fought couldn't even carry your jock strap. The guys that he fought wouldn't even bring these caliber guys in to spar with him to get ready for you. And that's what Fury wants to do to Deontay Wilder. But all in all, I'm hoping of all hope that it's a really good fight, man. Because I always want to see a really good boxing match. But that's my take on it. Y'all can leave, y'all comments in the comment section and let me know y'all breakdown on who y'all think is going to win. But that's my breakdown. That's the Boxing Factory. That's Volume 1, Episode 1, however you want to say it. Subscribe to the channel, man.